Hello, my friends. Today, in the Avdiivka direction, there are some changes on the front line, but unfortunately not in favor of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. As the saying goes, if you try hard enough, something will work out, and we see that the Russians are gradually managing to advance toward this encirclement of Avdiivka. Progress is being made, although the tactics here are quite different from Bakhmut. Today, there have been changes on the map confirming a small but still a success for the Russians. They've managed to advance on the flanks. On the southern flank, from Berdiansk to Seversk, their progress was 2 kilometers and 800 meters. Battles are ongoing right near Seversk. On the northern flank, they continue to push through in the area of the slag heap and in the fields near Vasile, encircling this settlement. Their progress there was 1 kilometer and 200 meters. Meanwhile, the occupiers have begun to move beyond the slag heap, and battles are taking place in the area of water treatment facilities. Their situation is quite challenging, and they are getting closer and closer to the coking chemical plant. Now the distance between the flanks is 6.5 kilometers, and intense battles continue. Attacks are ongoing both on the outskirts of Avdiivka and in the area of Svatove. If they manage to advance further here, their situation will become critical. However, the Ukrainian Armed Forces are doing everything to prevent this. They even used a drone to destroy a flag that the Russians had placed on the slag heap. Currently, the roads to Avdiivka are under fire, but not completely cut off. Further south, fighting continues in Marinka, with attacks on the villages of Vuhledar and Novoprokopivka, but there are no changes on the front line. But before we continue, I'd like to ask you to share this video on social media and watch it until the end. It would greatly help my channel. Thank you. In the Bakhmut direction, fighting continues in the areas of Klychyivka and Andriivka. They will not be able to capture these villages, but instead of focusing on defense, they are attempting to advance. As a result, a significant number of Russian forces are being destroyed, while the Ukrainian Armed Forces are currently holding a defensive posture without launching major offensive operations. On the northern flank, there are also attempts to advance in the Berdiansk area, but battles have ceased near Svatove, with the Ukrainian Armed Forces successfully repelling all attacks. In the Siversk direction, the occupiers continue to shell in limited numbers. After an unsuccessful attempt to advance, all attacks have stopped. In the Kupiansk area, the occupiers have resumed attacks on the village of Klychyivka. The number of shelling along the front line is minimal, and there are no changes. In the Svatove area, battles are ongoing near the village of Nadia, and the Ukrainian Armed Forces successfully repel all attacks, so the front line remains unchanged. In the Kupiansk direction, the occupiers have regrouped and resumed offensive actions towards Senkivka. They are advancing with tank and artillery support. Battles continue in Ivanivka, and the occupiers have also managed to get closer to the village, with the fighting extending beyond the gray zone. This situation is very complex. And now, let's move on to the southern directions. In the Vuhledar area, the occupiers have renewed their attacks on Zolota Niva and Prychestivka. There is ongoing challenge across the entire front line. No changes have occurred over the past days, so we are waiting to see how these latest attacks will unfold. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the occupiers are launching a significant offensive in the Novoprokopivka area, attempting to cut off the movement of our forces towards Robotyne. This situation is extremely challenging, with a considerable amount of shelling. The Ukrainian Armed Forces are repelling all attacks, and the front line remains unchanged over the past day. However, today more truth is emerging from captured Russians about how they conduct attacks and the attitudes of their commanders toward them.
Я Сергею Сергею Сергеевичу даю согласие на видеосъемку. На данный момент разведен. 2 дочки. Подали на развод, считай, за день до контракта. Ну, потому что жена гуляла. И она часто детей оставляла со мной. Я узнал от бабушки, что дети в детском доме. Это тоже повлияло. Потому что пока в учебном лагере там была возможность разорвать контракт. Ну да, они в детдоме сейчас.
Какие еще родственники есть?
Есть мать на Украине, но я давно с ней не общаюсь. Наверное, год 16-й, может, даже 14-й. Кривой Рог.
Сколько тебе в армии обещали платить?
Обещали 230, платили 185-90, ну плюс еще путинские 195 единовременные выплаты было. Очень плохо. Ну это потому что нам даже говорили, ну сдохните все, то что новых привезут. Единственный бой у нас был такой, как сказать, это в начале, когда наш перепутали, у нас потому что никаких опознавательных знаков не было. Свои же нас перепутали с чужими, и был встречный бой. Нет, у меня было желание разорвать контракт. Я когда намекнул командиру полка про это, он меня избил. Ну это было, там рядом сидел замполит, командир просто комполка разъярился, начал бить кулаками, потом взял автомат у своего зама, передернул затвор, хотел пристрелить. Ну и вроде потом у него, как сказать, ярость сошла. Мне сказали, пошел нахрен отсюда. Я ушел к себе в подразделение и отдыхал. Но мысли были, что это неадекватное командование. А там пофиг всем на людей. Им главное, ставилась задача, они хотели выполнить ее любой ценой, хотя знали, что выполнить ее невозможно. Мой совет – не соваться сюда больше. Потому что командование относится очень плохо к своим солдатам. И шансов погибнуть здесь гораздо больше, чем получить эти копейки. Оно того не стоит.
Meanwhile, it's known that the first ATACMS strike brought the Russian army its largest single loss of military aviation since the 1940s. The cost of destroyed helicopters alone is more than 6.5 billion rubles, which is $70 million. Analysts from the OREX project confirmed the losses of Russian aviation during the ATACMS missile strike on airfields near Berdiansk and Luhansk on October 17th. 9 helicopters, 7 of which are Ka-52 and 2 Mi-8 were destroyed. 15 helicopters, 8 of which Ka-52 and 7 Mi-8 were damaged. According to open sources, the Ka-52 costs 850 million rubles, which is approximately $9 million, and the Mi-8 250 million rubles, which is approximately $2.7 million. This figure doesn't include missile armament and additional equipment. The extent of damage to the other helicopters and the cost of repairing them cannot be estimated. The previous largest loss was the destruction of 7 aircraft at the Saki airfield in Crimea on August 9, 2022. Back then, a series of explosions destroyed Su-24 bombers and Su-30 fighter jets. Since the invasion of Ukraine, the Russian army forces have already lost 59 Ka-52s, almost half of the fleet of helicopters of this model. According to the Military Balance Bulletin, the Russian armed forces had 133 Ka-52s as of 2022. Real combat operations have shown that the alligator, widely publicized by propaganda, has shortcomings that lead to significant losses of these machines. That's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.